Hello, my name is Cheryl Wilson and I have a really exciting, fun video to share with you. And this one is, I love making my own handmade tools. And so I was looking for something that was not only a handmade, would make different marks, but also be fun. So I thought I am going to see what I have around the house that I can make handmade brushes. And so that's what I did. So I'll share with you my process. While this video is not necessarily about painting a painting, I wanted to show you a couple paintings where a lot of the marks from the brushes, and then I'm going to actually show you some different other ways to make marks, kind of just goes hand in hand, that incorporated marks into these particular paintings. But the brushes added a different flair, and then some of the other things I'm going to show you added different marks. And that's what I love, is the difference in the marks and having uniqueness, and it just makes me feel good. So I wanted to show you these three paintings because it kind of is going to give you an idea of what the results could be from some of the marks that you are going to hopefully create. Alright, now I'm showing you in a pretty vase these brooms, or the brushes I made. They're very rough. They are sticks. They are all a different material. I wrapped them with duct tape, and then I just embellished them with something that I thought was pretty so that I could enjoy them sitting out in my studio. So nothing fancy, nothing, you know, all different. And I'm using the carbon black golden high flow because it has the best consistency for spreading the paint, I thought, for these particular brushes. So I'm going to do a demonstration with each one. That one is actually made with tie wraps. Those are the things that you wrap up cords with. My husband had a bunch of them, and he now doesn't, because I made that into one of my brushes. The rest of these are all made with bristles of different brooms I had around the house. Again, you see the wire on there that I embellished in some beads. This is more of a traditional broom, and then I just put the tie wrap. I put like a brass finding and some beads. That's one of my favorite brushes. Actually, they're all my favorite. I can't say that. They're all different. But that has like a curved handle. Some are long handled, some are short handled. It just depends on what you want. That one I just put some nice silver wire around it. And again, you can see the duct tape. I sprayed the duct tape black so that it kind of looked a little bit better. So all three of the paintings that I showed you initially had the brush work on it. So this is the first one, and it's, when it hits the paper, very organic. You can either have a light touch, you can hold the end of the stick from far back, you can hold it, give you more control. Of course, when you initially hit the paper, a lot of the paint is going to touch the paper with gravity, soak it into the paper. You can just do different things. I love circles. I love the circular look. This is I'm going to do it again. It's just a, there's not as many gathered together on this one. It's a smaller handled brush, but it gives a little bit different organic look to the strokes that you could make with that one. I haven't named them. I guess I could. And I don't sell these. I've had several people ask me if I would make them some brushes, but they're made very organically, very rough, which is what I like. Not fancy. I think they're going to hold up for a long time, but they're just something that are very unique. That is the one, that's the tie wrap. And that actually is a lot of fun. I think I'm going to use that a lot because it gives, it's just no way you can make those marks with anything else. Of course, I'm making a lot of circles, but later on in the paintings, I was just using them like drawing lines with them. But it's just a very organic type of a structure that is made with it. That's just another, that I think that came from a broom that someone gave me from Korea. And I love this one because it starts out very thick because the bristles are all close together. And I can make, if I press down, thicker marks. And it's just, that one's a lot of fun. So you can see the fun that you can have with these brushes. And again, that one has a more traditional, those are stiffer. And again, it's going to make a lot more unique marks. They're all going to have their own uniqueness to them. A lot of them may look the same, but they do have their own uniqueness. So you can see what fun that these are going to be in your art pieces. And it's just the creativity that can happen with these is just phenomenal, and just in my opinion. And I've had fun in the week that I've had them. I thought I would show you, in addition to the brushes, black marking and just marks in general, but some foam marks that I like to make using a lot of these tools here. And the results on like the black and white paintings are just actually quite stunning. If I mean, I like this type of art, but it gives you the ability to make so many different types of marks, so many different types of paintings. And these are just very rough paintings. These are paintings that are basically in a series I have called Torn. So these are not quite done yet. This is a painting that is done, and part of the reason why I like this is the paper or the canvas is torn, and it's just part of the overall art. But this mark was made with the brushes that I made. So I wanted to show you some of the way some of these other marks can go into your painting. And it's very interesting the way it looks. I wanted to also show you making marks on tissue paper. Very interesting way to add a very unique, and I do this all the time, and I do the writing on here with a rigger brush. And a rigger brush is just a brush with a very long bristles, and it's just very fluid. And then you hold it on the end, and it makes some really nice marks. But this is tissue paper, and then these marks are made with the tools that you see in front of me. The beauty of this is when you rip this up and you include it in your art, it just melds right in your art, and then all you see basically are the marks. This is deli paper, which is nice, but it's waxy, and same thing. It gives a slightly different transparency when you put it in your art, but you can tell because it's waxy on one side, and the tissue paper is just tissue paper. So they're both great. I'll do some marks on both and show you the results to that. An example, let me move these tools over to the side because we're gonna start using them. But an example would be if I wanted some of this writing my piece here. And let me get I'm using a matte gel. And you could adhere this with just anything, a brush. I'm just going to use some paper towel. This is dry, and you do want to wait till this is dry, because if not, it will, the black writing will smear. So it just, the background of the paper, tissue paper molds in, and then you can see the writing. This is dark, so it's dark on dark, but it does still give you an idea of some writing behind that. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of paper down because it will stick, and you have to remember when you're doing this, pull the paper off and put it on wax paper or put it on a place so when it does stick, when you pull it off, because if I left it adhered to this right here, it would glue itself to that piece of paper. So remember when you do your tissue paper to pull it up. So here's a piece of tissue paper, and I'm just going to grab some marks. This is a really fun mark. This is kind of dried, but it's just paper towel folded up, and then I dip it down in, and in this case I have my trusty jar of black ink, acrylic high flow, not ink. You could use ink. This is foam, just from a package that came. This is just like a stenciling brush, a spoon, spatula, paper towel holder. This is a sponge brush I put on an end of a stick, kind of give you more flexibility on the end. Cork from a wine bottle. This is just a catalyst bot. You can make a lot of these. And for instance, this is a paint brush, and I took a rubber band and put it around the foam. This is a brush from when you dye your hair, your roots. This is another one, same concept. Toothbrush, different spatulas is another one, and then different brushes that have different angles to them. So the idea here is to grab unusual items so that when you put it on your tissue paper, when you're making your marks, you've got unusual marks. So I'm going to open up the paint. It's down in there. I'm going to get ready to refill that. But here's the rigger brush, and we're just going to do some sgraffito. Okay. The looser the better, in my opinion. Okay, there's that. Okay, here's a piece of foam. You find it in, it fits down in there. Okay. Here's a nice end. This, of course, the further over you go, the less paint. Makes fun marks. I love this. This is a paper towel. So here I have, I'm going to double it over, and you can make marks or a nice swipe. I love the marks that paper towel makes. Here's the stenciling brush. Of course, as you
go down the paper, it's going to lose its amount of paint that's on there. Here's a fun thing that you don't really think about, but if you spoon paint and then you just flip it. Now you could do the same thing with a popsicle stick. The Jackson Pollock look is when you have a little thicker paint and then you add some medium to it so the consistency is not as watery. Of course, this is nice when you want to do the flicking marks like that. Okay, so that was the tissue paper, and again, you're going to pull that off of the paper underneath while it's drying and put it on wax paper or someplace where it's not going to glue itself to the painting underneath or paper. This is the wax paper. There's a waxy side. I'm going to put the waxy side down. Here's just paper towel holder. Not only are these making papers, but you're making marks. This is the same marks. I mean, I'm showing you how to do it on paper, but you can make your marks on your actual painting. Here's a palette knife. Same way as a bigger one. Wonderful marks. Okay, I'm going to move that over. Another piece of tissue paper. Now this is going to bleed through what I had down there, which is fine with me. Here's a foam brush, and I'm using it on the tip end. I love lines, so you'll see me use a lot of lines. If you want more control, a little fatter lines, grab it a little closer. Alright, here is the brush from when you do your hair. Again, unusual lines. Here is, you've all seen the toothbrush. One, you can, and then you can splatter. I'm going to make a mess on my fingers with the splatter. It's just a beautiful splatter. Dots, of course you can do dots with the end of a paintbrush, or you can use a tool. This is the unusual brush. That tip is kind of fun. And I'm going to grab another piece of paper. And what else? I have to rinse these off, but what this will do is, if you dip it down in, let me find a place to do this because I do want to show you. I don't really want to waste a lot of paint, so I'm going to see if I can do a demonstration of this. Now, if this were full of paint, it would get a completely different look. But this has just got slight paint on it. And you just see the uncontrollable, how beautiful this is, and look pretty. And you can see on this, like say you wanted to add, move that before I spill it, add some white to this. I'm notorious for knocking over my paint bottles. Okay, so I'm adding white. Kind of just giving it a, I don't know how much you can see. So I'm adding, and I'm going to go in, see if I can get some more of the black. So this whole page is just full of beautiful marks. So I'm going to go ahead and dump that in my water. And then I'm just going to add a spoon of some black. Some Jackson Pollock type marks. So any time, any piece of this paper here would be a lot of fun to grab and to add it into your art, even if you wanted to mush this. Because this is not a painting. This is just papers you're going to use. Okay? So we're going to pull that up so it doesn't dry. Okay. Okay, so those are marks on the tissue. The tissue's drying. But I wanted to get an actual painting here. Now this one is, I mean, I could call this finished, but what I want to do is pull this out and just show you some of the additional marks that we've made and how you can add. So I'm going to get my beautiful brushes that I made. And I don't want to overfill this, but if I just want to go in here and enhance this, that's just a very light brush stroke there. Let's the cork. Add those marks at the bottom. And on this one, I'm going to mush it down a little bit. Okay, now let's do some writing. The brush was going sideways. Okay, so let's go in with the paper towel. In fact, I'm going to do a new paper towel, and all you do is you just take a piece of paper towel and fold it till you get to an edge. So I can use that paper towel to continue my marks. I'm going to go over these down here, and I want to enhance some of this. And I'm going to do some splatter down there. So I think you get the gist of it. The thing about what I'm trying to get at is when you get to a painting that you want to enhance or you want to change up, these tools that you have sitting around next to you are great to grab because they're going to give you an appearance that you may not normally get from, well, you just won't. You won't get it from anything else. It's going to be so totally different. And again, I like to go in on some of the things that I do and rub some things out. So I didn't want to have them all be the marks that I put down. I went ahead and I just went in and rubbed some of them out. And for that, let's see, I need to thicken this white a little bit, but let me see if I can get it to do what I want. I'm going to there, it added just enough of the white on top. And again, I'm going to go and rub some of that out, bring some of the black up. But I never want to add something and leave it 100%. Whenever I do like sgraffito, a lot of times I'll go in and rub part of the part of it out, or I'll alter it so it fits in. So you don't always have the mark is on top. It's a layered mark, is what I'm trying to say. It's getting kind of dark down there. And the same way with this mark up here. And you just outline these maybe. A little splatter over there. Let me turn this around. Trying to stay away from the... Okay, so you can see the splatter. I'm going to go again and rub some of it out. Part of it's there. And alter that a little bit. And then when you add like a graphite or a charcoal to the wet paint, kind of gives a fun mark. see how that looks. And another thing you can do when you add a piece of like the tissue paper with the marks on it, if you want to continue the mark, I'm just adding a mark that kind of corresponds with that, or you can finish a mark.
So as I finish this up, I just grabbed another one and I'm going to do a stencil on it, which I do a lot. I hope that you give me a thumbs up. I hope this was enjoyable and it was something that you can enjoy doing and practicing. I'm going to put a link to a Facebook group down below if you want to do some of these and share your paintings. I'd love to see them. It's a small group at this point, but I'd love to have you a part of the group and show off some of the pieces that you've made, and I know we'd all love to see it. But thank you. I hope you subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up to give me encouragement, and the main thing is just thank you very much for watching.